After 30 years of loyal service, Mr. Harris, the beloved janitor at Westwood High, is suddenly fired without warning. But just when it seems like all is lost, an unexpected twist shakes the school to its core. A billionaire, a helicopter, and a life-changing offer that no one could have predicted. What does a long-forgotten janitor have in common with a powerful businessman? And how will one shocking act of kindness change everything for Mr. Harris? Stay tuned to see how an unbelievable twist turns this story of betrayal into an unforgettable tale of redemption.
It was just another ordinary morning at Westwood High or so, everyone thought. How could anyone have predicted the bombshell that was about to drop? Mr. Harris, the school's beloved elderly janitor, was suddenly fired after 30 incredible years of loyal service. Can you believe it? 30 years. He wasn't just let go, he was tossed out like yesterday's garbage, with no pension, no heartfelt goodbye. Just a cold, ruthless dismissal that left everyone stunned. Students whispered in shock, teachers averted their eyes, pretending not to care, and Principal Whitaker? He strutted off like it was nothing. But oh, how wrong they all were. Who could have guessed that this heartless decision would spark something so wild, so unbelievable? It'd turn everything upside down. The morning sun painted Westwood High in a golden glow as students poured through the gates, buzzing about their weekend plans. Everything felt so normal until the news hit like a thunderclap. Mr. May Harris, the janitor who'd been a fixture at the school forever, was gone. Not retired, not moved to another job, just fired, erased without a single warning. What was going on? Some students caught hushed snippets from teachers in the break room, their voices low and uneasy. Others spotted Principal Whitaker gliding through the halls, cool as ice, acting like nothing had happened. But to the students who truly cared, it was clear something was terribly wrong. Mr. Harris wasn't just a janitor. Oh no, he was the guy who stayed late to mop up their messes, who fixed their lockers with a smile when they jammed, who slipped them lunch money when they were short. To them, he was family. And this betrayal cut deep. No announcement echoed through the speakers. No tribute popped up on the school's website. Just a chilling silence. Some brave kids even cornered the staff, demanding answers. What happened to Mr. Harris? They asked. But the grown-ups clammed up tight. The only hint? The principal had summoned him to his office the day before, and after a quick, tense meeting, Mr. Harris shuffled out with a tiny box of his things. 30 years of sweat and heart, gone in a flash. How could that be? Mia, a junior who'd known Mr. Harris since her elementary days, felt her stomach twist into knots as she passed his usual spot by the cafeteria. It was empty. His name tag? Vanished. She spun to her best friend Oliver, her voice trembling. This isn't right, is it? He didn't deserve this. Oliver sighed, running a hand through his hair. I heard it's about money. The school's slashing costs, and they think he's too old to keep up. Mia's fists balled up, her eyes blazing. Too old? That's absurd. He worked harder than anyone here. As the day crawled by, whispers morphed into wild rumors. Was he replaced by some young hotshot who'd work for peanuts? Did he clash with the principal over unfair treatment? No one knew the truth, but one thing rang clear: this was an outrage. And yet, could anyone have dreamed what was coming next? The very next morning, as students trickled in, a strange sound rumbled through the air. What was that? A low, growling roar swelled louder and louder, impossible to ignore. Heads snapped up, eyes locked on the sky. A helicopter, a massive, sleek black beast of a helicopter, was swooping down, landing right smack on the school's front lawn. The ground quaked, windows rattled, and jaws dropped. A billionaire's helicopter? Here? At Westwood High? Why on earth? Chaos erupted. In an instant, teachers bolted outside. Students clutched their backpacks, squinting through the dust whipped up by those monstrous blades. Principal Whitaker, fresh from his office, stopped dead in his tracks, his face a mask of bewilderment. Who could this be? The whole school froze, breath held tight. As the helicopter doors creaked open, suspense thick enough to choke on. Out stepped a man in a sharp charcoal suit, his polished shoes glinting like mirrors in the sunlight. Tall, commanding, dripping with wealth, his very presence screamed power. He adjusted his gold cufflinks with a flick, his piercing eyes scanning the gaping crowd. Mia, rooted near the front steps, squeezed Oliver's arm so hard he winced. "Who is that guy?" she hissed, barely audible over the fading roar. Oliver's jaw tightened. No clue, but this is big, really big. The man's stare zeroed in on Principal Whitaker, who puffed up, trying to look in charge. Before a single question could fly, the stranger's voice boomed, deep and firm. "Where is he?" The principal blinked, thrown off balance. "Excuse me, but who are you? And what's your business here?" The man didn't flinch, his face darkening as he stepped closer. "Where is he?" That voice. It hit like a hammer, making even the sternest teachers shrink back. A tense silence swallowed the crowd. Whitaker hesitated, then flashed a tight, fake smile. "Sir, I'm not sure who you mean." The stranger's patience snapped like a twig. Mr. Harris. Where is he?" Gasps exploded from the students. Mia's heart nearly stopped. This was about Mr. Harris. Whitaker's face drained of color, but he rallied quick. "Mr. Harris is no longer employed here," he snapped, clipped and cold. "If you're after a reference, I'm afraid." A hand shot up, silencing him mid-sentence. "I know he's gone. That's why I'm asking where to find him." The principal faltered, mouth opening uselessly, when a shaky voice cut through. "He lives on Maple Street." Every head whipped toward a nervous freshman by the doors, his eyes wide but steady. "I saw him yesterday, packing up." He said he was going home to Maple Street. The billionaire's jaw clenched as he turned back to Whitaker. "Thank you," he said, nodding to the kid, not the principal. Without another word, he pivoted toward the helicopter. Mia's pulse raced. Wait, what was happening? She couldn't just stand there. She grabbed Oliver's wrist, whispering, "Let's go!" Before he could protest, she yanked him through the dazed crowd. Who was this guy? And why did he want Miss Harris? She had to know. The helicopter doors swung open again, and the billionaire stepped inside. In a heartbeat, Mia and Oliver leapt in after him crazy. Right? The doors slammed shut, muffling the stunned cries from the lawn. The pilot's voice crackled. "Sir, we're clear for takeoff." With a lurch, the chopper soared upward. Mia clung to a seat, breathless. Oliver gaped, muttering, "What did we just do?" The billionaire spun around, his gaze slicing through them. For a long, heavy moment, he just stared. Then, with a slow tug at his cuffs, he said, 5 seconds. "Explain why you're in my helicopter, or you're back at school." Mia's throat tightened, but she forced the words out. "We need to know why you're after Mr. Harris." The billionaire arched a brow. "And why is that your business?" Oliver jumped in, panting. "Because he meant something to us. Unlike your buddy Whitaker, we care about him." A spark flickered in the man's eyes. Surprise, respect, gone in a flash. He studied them, then sighed. "All right, you want the truth? Listen up." He turned to the window, his voice softening. "I was 14 when I met Thomas Harris. My first job. My family had nothing lost at all, and no one gave a damn. But Harris? He did. He got me work at his brother's auto shop, taught me engines, taught me how to keep going when life kicks you down. My school treated me like trash, but he made sure I never bought into that. Mia's chest ached. She knew Mr. Harris was special, but this? Incredible. The billionaire's voice dropped low. That man's why I'm here today. And now, after all he's done, they ditch him like he's nothing? Not if I can help it. Oliver shook his head, stunned. You knew him as a kid? The man nodded. His kindness saved me. Now it's my turn. Mia leaned in, eyes wide. How? What's your plan? He smirked. Just watch. The chopper tilted as it approached a shabby little house on Maple Street. Overgrown grass, peeling paint, a lone figure slumped on the porch, staring at nothing. Mia knew him instantly. Mr. Harris. The helicopter settled in an empty lot across the street, and the billionaire strode out, shoes crunching gravel. Mia and Oliver scrambled after him, hearts pounding. Missed. Harris looked up, his weary eyes ballooning with shock. No way, he breathed, staggering to his feet. It can't be. The billionaire closed the gap, voice warm and steady. Long time, old friend. Miss Harris's face flickered disbelief, relief, hope all tangled together. The billionaire pulled a folded paper from his pocket and held it out. Pack your bags, Harris. You're with me now, Mr. Harris froze, staring at it, hands twitching, but still, his gaze darted between the man, Mia, and Oliver, years of hardship weighing him down. I don't get it, he rasped, voice raw. Why are you here? The billionaire softened. Just a touch. You never gave up on me. I'm not giving up on you. Mia and Oliver swapped looks. This was unreal. Mr. Harris shook his head, dazed. You don't owe me anything. The billionaire chuckled, sharp and dry. Wrong. You saw something in me when no one else did. I was a kid with nothing, and you gave me a shot. Now I'm giving you one. He thrust the paper forward. This is a contract, a job, a fresh start. Mr. Harris's breath hitched. A job? The billionaire nodded. Firm, not just any job. A place in my company. You're more than a janitor. Harris, you taught me grit, heart, everything that matters. I need you with me. Trembling mist. Harris reached out, fingers brushing the paper. After decades of being invisible, he was seen. I don't know what to say, he choked out. The billionaire clapped his shoulder. Say yes. Tears shimmered in Mr. Harris's eyes, not from pain, but from something new, something bright. He nodded. Yes. Mia and Oliver beamed yes. The billionaire grinned. Let's roll. As they turned to the chopper, none of them saw the car lurking down the street, where Principal Whitaker seethed, knuckles white on the wheel, watching it all unfold. Mia and Oliver locked eyes, the air practically buzzing with tension and unspoken hope. Could this moment really be unfolding right before them? Missed Harris, the quiet, unassuming soul who'd been tossed aside like a worn-out rag, shook his head in disbelief, his weathered hand rubbing his forehead, as if he could erase the dreamlike haze. You don't owe me anything, he murmured, his voice so soft it nearly drowned in the weight of the silence. But the billionaire? He let out a sharp, humorless laugh that sliced through the stillness. Oh, that's where you're dead wrong. When the world saw nothing but a scrappy kid with empty pockets, you saw something worth believing in. You gave me a chance when I had zilch. His fingers tightened around the stack of papers in his hand, his eyes blazing with a fire that refused to be dimmed. And now I'm here to hand you one. Missed Harris, your shot at something bigger, Mr. Harris let out a shaky breath, his gaze dropping to his calloused hands that had scrubbed grimy floors, hauled overflowing trash bags, and borne the weight of a life he'd long since stopped questioning for decades. He'd resigned himself to the shadows, convinced that second chances were fairy tales for other people, not for a man like him. And yet, here it was, proof staring him in the face. Could he have been wrong all this time? Was there still a spark of possibility left for him? Oliver stepped forward, his voice ringing with a strength that demanded attention. Missed. Harris, we saw it all, how they treated you like dirt. It was beyond disgusting. They acted like you were invisible. But guess what? You're not. Mia nodded fiercely, her eyes alight with a determination that could move mountains. And oh boy, are they about to get a wake-up call. They'll see just how wrong they were to underestimate you. The billionaire thrust the papers forward again, his urgency electrifying the moment. This isn't just some piece of paper, it's a contract, a job offer, a whole new life waiting for you to grab it. Mr. Harris's breath hitched in his throat, his heart pounding like a drum. A job? He echoed, his voice trembling with disbelief. The billionaire nodded, unwavering, his stare piercing right through to Mr. Harris's soul. Not just any job, a real position in my company. You've always been more than a janitor, Harris. You taught me what matters: values, discipline, resilience. You were the rock that kept me from crumbling when I had nothing left to hold on to. I need someone like you on my team, someone with heart. Mr. Harris's eyes locked onto the document, his trembling hands reaching out, fingertips brushing the crisp paper as if it might vanish. For years, he'd swallowed the bitter truth that no one would ever fight for him, that he'd always be the one left behind. But now, standing face to face with this man who hadn't forgotten him, who remembered the quiet kindness he'd offered decades ago, something deep inside him cracked open. Hope? Was that what this feeling was? I don't know what to say, he stammered, his voice breaking under the weight of emotions he hadn't let himself feel in forever. The billionaire clapped a steady hand on his shoulder, grounding him. Just say yes. That's all I need to hear. Tears welled up in Mr. Harris's eyes, tears not born of pain or shame, but of something raw and beautiful. Can you imagine it? After years of being invisible, of giving kindness without expecting a shred in return, he was finally seen. Truly seen. He took a deep, shuddering breath, nodding as if testing the word on his tongue. Yes. Mia and Oliver erupted into grins, their relief washing over the scene like a tidal wave. The billionaire smirked, a glint of triumph in his eyes. Good. Let's get out of here, your new life's waiting. As they turned toward the sleek helicopter, its blades slicing through the air with a rhythmic roar, none of them spotted the car lurking at the street's end. Inside, Principal Whitaker sat, his knuckles white as he clutched the steering wheel, his face twisted into a mask of pure, seething fury. How dare they defy him like this? Missed. Harris stepped toward the helicopter, the wind whipping his worn jacket around him. But he didn't flinch. His heart was hammering, his mind racing to catch up with the unbelievable twist his life had just taken. Just days ago, he'd shuffled out of that school a broken man, humiliated, discarded like yesterday's news. But now he was striding toward hope, real, tangible hope. Who could have seen this coming? Mia and Oliver trailed close behind, their excitement bubbling over like champagne. They'd witnessed the despair etched into mist. Harris's face when he'd been cast out, and now they were watching his redemption unfold in real time. The billionaire flicked his head toward the pilot, who gave a crisp nod. "We've got places to be," he said, his tone casual but his eyes sharp as a hawk's. a man who knew every move in this chess game of life. But just as Miss Harris reached the helicopter door, a voice ripped through the wind's roar. Wait. They all spun around. Principal Whitaker was charging toward them, his face flushed a furious red, his polished shoes crunching the pavement with every furious step. He marched forward with the swagger of a man who still thought he held all the cards, though his suit slightly wrinkled from too long in that car betrayed his unraveling composure. The billionaire's face didn't flicker, cool as ice, but Mia and Oliver tensed like coiled springs. Mr. Harris swallowed hard, old habits clawing at him, years of shrinking back, dodging conflict, accepting his lot. But not today. Whitaker skidded to a halt a few feet away, chest heaving, his voice sharp with indignation. This is ridiculous. Missed. Harris, you can't just walk away like this. You have responsibilities. The billionaire let out a slow, amused breath, the sound dripping with irony. Responsibilities? Really? His voice was smooth as silk, unruffled. You mean like scrubbing floors for a school that chucked him out like garbage? Whitaker's jaw clenched tight, his eyes narrowing into slits. That was a misunderstanding, Mia scoffed, her voice cutting like a whip. A misunderstanding? Are you serious? You humiliated him in front of everyone like he was nothing. Whitaker's gaze darted to the billionaire, and for the first time, a flicker of realization hit him. Holy cow, the sheer power standing in front of him. His eyes flicked to the helicopter, the gleaming symbol of wealth and influence, and he swallowed hard, his tone shifting, softening into something more calculated. Look, Mr. Harris, there's no need for hostility. If money's the problem, I'm sure we can work something out. The billionaire's laugh was a cold, cutting thing, like ice cracking underfoot. You think this is about money? Oh, that's rich. He stepped forward, towering over the principal with an aura that screamed untouchable. You had a good man right under your nose, someone who poured years of his life into this place, into those kids. And when you decided he wasn't useful anymore, you tossed him aside without even blinking. Whitaker's eyes darted between them, panic creeping into his polished facade. I was just doing what I thought was best for the school, he stammered, his voice faltering. The billionaire smirked, his tone laced with disdain. And I'm doing what's best for Mist. Harris, funny how that works, huh? Silence crashed down, thick and heavy. For the first time, Whitaker looked lost, floundering in waters too deep for him to navigate. He'd spent years calling the shots, stomping over anyone he deemed beneath him. But now he was staring down someone who couldn't be bullied, someone who could crush him with a single move. Missed. Harris, silent until now, finally found his voice, steady and unshakable. I'm done being invisible. He locked eyes with Whitaker, unyielding. You don't get to control me anymore. Whitaker's mouth opened, ready to fire back, but the billionaire cut him off, spinning toward the helicopter. We're done here, end of story. Mia and Oliver beamed, scrambling into the helicopter beside Mr. Harris. Their energy infectious, the billionaire followed, pausing just long enough to toss Whitaker one last, searing glance. Enjoy your little kingdom while it lasts. The door slammed shut with a resounding thud, and the helicopter surged into the sky, leaving Whitaker stranded, watching helplessly as his grip on everything slipped away. What must he have felt in that moment, seeing his power crumble? As the helicopter climbed higher, Mist. Harris peered down at the school, shrinking below the place that had once been his entire world. Tiny figures of students and staff dotted the grounds, staring up in awe. He took a deep breath, the weight of years, decades of struggle peeling off his shoulders like old paint. For the first time in forever, He wasn't just scraping by, he was free. Truly, gloriously free. Mia and Oliver sat across from him, their eyes sparkling with uncontainable excitement. The billionaire, calm as ever, tapped a few buttons on his phone before sliding it into his pocket with a flick of his wrist. He turned to Mr. Harris, studying him with a quiet intensity. "You've spent your whole life slaving away for a system that never gave a damn about you," he said, his voice low but piercing. "So tell me, if you could do anything in the world, what would it be?" Mr. Harris froze. What? No one had ever asked him that. His life had been a treadmill of survival, never daring to dream beyond the next day's grind. He glanced at Mia and Oliver, their encouraging nods urging him on. I always wanted to teach," he admitted, his voice gaining strength as the words tumbled out. "I love working with kids, helping them learn, showing them they're capable of so much more than they believe." It was like a dam breaking years of buried dreams rushing to the surface, unstoppable now that they'd been given air. The billionaire's lips curved into a small, knowing smile. "Then that's exactly what you'll do." Mr. Harris blinked, stunned. "I don't understand. What do you mean?" The billionaire leaned back, gazing out at the clouds drifting by. "I'm building a new school, a place where every kid gets a fair shot, where no one's thrown away because of where they come from. And I want you in on it," Mia gasped, a sound of pure shock and delight. Oliver's jaw dropped, his eyes wide as saucers. "Mr. Harris just stared, his brain scrambling to catch up. "You want me to work at your school?" "Not just work there," the billionaire corrected, his tone dead serious. "I want you to help build it, shape it, turn it into something no one's ever seen before. You've lived the flaws of the system your whole life. Now you get to fix them." Tears sprang to Mr. Harris's eyes again, but these were different tears of hope, of possibility, of a future he'd never dared imagine. By the time the helicopter touched down at a sprawling estate, he was still reeling, his head spinning with the sheer magnitude of it all. The ground stretched endlessly, a breathtaking tapestry of green, but his eyes locked onto the massive construction site in the distance. Was that really the start of something he'd helped create? The billionaire waved a hand toward it. "That's where it all kicks off." Mr. Harris, Mia, and Oliver followed him inside, stepping into a room buzzing with energy architects, educators, planners, all brimming with ideas. The billionaire introduced him with a pride that made Mr. Harris's chest swell. "This is Mr. Harris. He's going to be one of the key players in bringing this school to life." The room burst into applause, a wave of sound that crashed over him. He swallowed hard, his hands trembling. Days ago, he'd been trash to them. Now he was holding the opportunity of a lifetime. Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mr. Harris sat on a balcony overlooking the twinkling city lights, Mia and Oliver flanking him, their grins as wide as the sky. "So," Mia teased, nudging him with her elbow, "how's it feel to be part of something this huge?" He exhaled slowly, a smile spreading across his face like dawn breaking. "It feels like I'm finally where I belong, can you believe it?" Far off, back at the school, Principal Whitaker hunched over his desk, scrolling through emails with a scowl that deepened by the second. Word of the billionaire's project was spreading like wildfire, and parents were already whispering, questioning his leadership. He clenched his fists, knuckles whitening, knowing deep down he'd screwed up big time, and there was no fixing it now. Meanwhile, Mr. Harris closed his eyes, the cool night breeze washing over him like a balm. He wasn't just a forgotten janitor anymore. Oh no, he was a man with purpose, with a future. And as the stars blinked to life above, he knew one thing for certain: his story, It was only just beginning.